Hey, Danny.
Hey there.
Let me call Nancy. Oh, there she is. I thought maybe you were in the wrong room. She won't admit it, Danny, but she was in the wrong room. And now she's coming back. Already? No, you're calling me again.
Gotta love it.
What a cool cactus.
Oh, yeah. It's my daughter's.
Very cool.
Oh.
Okay, Jay's not here yet. So we don't have but Danny's here.
I'm here.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, Nancy.
Yeah, we've got a couple of minutes to wait for Jay.
Okay.
Hi, Kathleen.
Hi, Jesse. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Hi, Dawn. You're at the wrong meeting, sir.
That's what I told him.
Yeah. He can't stay away.
Hey, Jesse.
Yes.
I've been wanting to come over to your office. I want to volunteer for a green box. So should I just come to your office?
Yes, you should talk to Ann or Anna Faye.
Okay.
Yep. And they are keeping regular business hours there now. I'm in Oklahoma on a big art install, so I won't be back
wow.
for a bit.
Cool.
Oh, so you're going to be running and sharing the screen, correct?
Sure.
Thank you.
Let me find my materials. There I go.
We are the only ones in town hall, so beware.
Don't go messing with stuff.
Already done.
Okay, so are you guys seeing that page scroll?
We are. You were successful. Thank you.
Good.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Well, okay. I'm not sure how to make it big. Well, it basically has.
Could I look on with you, Don?
I'm just getting closer to the
You
screen.
know, it's just their agenda.
Oh,
So you don't actually
that's
have to
what it
read it.
is.
They'll tell us what they're talking about. So
Okay.
we don't actually have to read it.
Yeah, I
We're
don't
like
think that
school children.
there aren't a lot of visuals that that you need to see, that you didn't provide.
Still waiting on Jay.
Yep.
I saw his truck at the upholstery shop.
Can I expand this screen on that? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No, I think that's it. That's as good as it
Really?
gets. It's okay. You know what,
Okay.
Kathleen, you don't need to read that piece.
Okay. I've been doing my homework and going through all the videos for the Trails group.
Oh, are you? So did you guys decide to watch them all or just specific
Rob
ones?
asked us all to watch them all.
Oh,
Well,
just four.
Four.
I watched them all.
Did you? What did you think? Because Mark didn't think all of them were all that useful, but
We
the
just did
four.
four.
He recommended.
Incredibly detailed. The others were like, past our pay grade.
Got it. Yeah.
That's for the pros.
Because he was saying they had like all scoring thing and everything that he just didn't see you guys doing.
That's what government does.
Okay.
So just for the sake of doing something, but
There he is. Jay just walked in.
Terrific.
Hey,
Yep.
Jay.
don't get confused, Jay. I'm just here as a citizen
Okay.
He is a volunteer.
and public comment.
And just a reminder, this is being recorded right now. So,
Okay,
Yep.
so I can't make my usual smart remarks.
okay, I think we're all here. We have a quorum now, Jesse.
All right, I am going to call us to order at 3:02 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And I will ask if there are any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda.
I actually have an addition. I'd like to add to business, the posting of signage at the Catamount Trailhead and Thomas Trailhead, for the high water.
Will that take place over time? This is in for.
Let's wait till we get, Jay, let's
Yeah,
wait.
we'll
till we get there.
discuss when we, yeah.
Okay.
Any other additions?
He's got this.
So I need a motion to accept the agenda with the addition of safety postings at Catamount and Thomas Trail.
I so move.
Second.
I second, okay.
You don't get-
All in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? So we have accepted that. Everyone have a chance to review the meeting minutes from the last meeting?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes,
Is there a motion to approve those?
I will so move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Great, we are to public comment and we can take another round of public comment after business items or during. So anyone want to speak before their agenda item on the agenda?
I have public comment.
Don Walker has a public comment.
Okay,
Sure. Let's see. I noticed that in the minutes, that PRT had recommended restrooms at the gazebo park be closed. And when I was there Saturday, I noticed they were still running.
Oh.
I was just curious when they will be shut down. The other thing was, I noticed in the minutes that you'd requested a dark sky option for the lighting on the bridges. And I wanted to know if you'd heard back from town staff on that.
I did have a discussion with with the town manager about why we had requested that and gave a reminder that that was one of the requirements that we had asked for in the package. So she was gonna get with the contractor, but I've not had a follow-up from that. So I will send her an email regarding both those items to check in on if there was a dark sky option coming from the contractor and also when the public restrooms are gonna close.
One other item. I went down and checked on the playground slide that was requested repaired. And I noticed that the barrier, the plastic barrier that we put up last year was gone, totally gone. And so it's just an open side. The other thing was, as I think we talked about last year when we made an inspection on it, it doesn't lend itself to any more danger than the rest of the slide with an open, it has a railing, but there's no barrier beneath the railing. It doesn't necessarily pose any more risk than the rest of the slide with the entry and the exit. Just a comment.
Yeah, I hear that, Don. I think and I don't like insurance either, and I hate to think this way, but from a liability standpoint,
Right.
if it's broken, then we are liable for anything that happens. So I think on that inspection, you were gonna get a measurement and we talked about maybe installing a piece of plexiglass or a permanent blockade there. But also a note of business item 5C for today. Nancy wants to discuss a different recommendation for that.
Great, thank you.
Can I ask for a clarification? Which of the slides is this? Is this the one at Gazebo Park or the one at Pool Park?
Gazebo Park.
Okay.
It's been broken for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I have friends who have young kids who have used that, and I was puzzled. As of a month ago, there was a letter to the board, to the group, commenting on that being broken. And I similarly had not seen where the thing was taped off or marked off.
That's when I went out
Yeah.
and made an inspection and noticed that the barrier that we reinforced last year was completely gone. Not even the strips are left. So it's like somebody removed them.
Yeah. I couldn't find out. Couldn't identify which one had been modified.
All right, anything else under public comment?
Nope.
So let's continue that discussion about the slide when we get to 5C. So let's go ahead and go into business item 5A, which is a PRTAC member application from Danny Hines, who has been serving already as an alternate.
I'm so excited to have Danny step up and to be a full-time committee member. Thank you, Danny, for being the
No.
alternate. And
Thank-
thank you for, applying to be a full member of the PRT. You have been an asset as an alternate. And so looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
If I can comment, Danny, this is usually prefaced with a remark like, abandon all hope, ye who enter here.
It's not that bad, Danny.
We've got a full
I'm
set of
scared to try to replace Don. I don't have notebooks like he does.
Oh, well, we can buy you one. No worries.
Oh, okay.
There's time for that. Yeah, I'm gonna echo what Jay and Nancy already said. It's really already been a pleasure working with you. You're gonna get nominated, you're gonna get the job as far as I'm concerned, and it's not because no one else applied, but they knew better because you're gonna be so great working with you, and having to replace Don, is hard. You got some big shoes to fill, but
Yes.
I'm excited to have another female. So yay, Danny.
Yay.
Danny, we can buy you a couple of DeWalt battery packs as well to get you ready for the job.
There you go.
Oh, I love it. I love a rechargeable battery.
I think of all the committees, we give out the most homework. But we also have a group that does it, which is amazing and awesome. So
Mhm.
I'm really, you worry when the team changes about keeping up that kind of spirit, but I have no doubt that we're in good shape. So I'd like to make a motion that we recommend to the Board of Trustees that they assign Danny to PRT as a full-time member.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Danny.
Okay.
So assuming this goes to the BOT packet on 5/21, they'll review it, and once they make that assignment, it'll be done deal.
All right.
Official.
Official.
Thank you, I think.
So let's move to a new business item, which is adopt a park and a repainting of the Ute Pass concrete bridge. And I know that we have Kathleen here to talk about that.
And Shelley and Dawn.
And Dawn.
And Shelley.
Shelley and Dawn, I said.
Oh, okay, sorry.
First of all, good thinking on having this be part of Adopt
Mhm.
Park program. And how do we want to start? Do we want to hear from Kathleen?
Sure. Well, it started with just a group of neighbors on the, that were meeting for coffee, and we all have to drive, we're all up Belvedere or Iona or falls up there. And every day we have to drive by and drive across that bridge. And of course, we notice every time the way the bridge looks, and it's kind of embarrassing for like when tourists or trekkers or somebody comes into town. So we started talking about it and decided that we would like to redo it. And then it became a whole thing. So do you have this cement bridge project?
Actually, Kathleen, that's our internal document. So we're
Okay.
going through these slides. here
Jesse, could
today.
you scroll down to what was submitted for them?
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
Do you have this one?
It's in the slide.
Okay.
Looks beautiful.
Mhm.
So basically, the document that Kathleen has, I summarized into just a few bullet points. So like Kathleen said, the residents of Belvedere, Iona, and Falls Avenue, we're calling ourselves the Biff residents, started talking about repainting the bridge. And you guys all understand which bridge we're talking about?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And so after having Don and Tim Zergis go down and take a really good look at the condition of the concrete, the Biff residents decided it makes a lot more sense to break this project up into two phases. The first phase being performed by the town to get the concrete back into condition so that it can even be painted. And then the second phase being painting the bridge. So you can see there, phase one, we're asking that the Public Works do power washing, adhesive application to the cracks, skim coating, and priming of the bridges.
Because, could I interrupt for just a
Sure.
minute? Because this is actually a maintenance project for the town. And we can't paint on it until it's been repaired. And it's definitely a repair project.
And as part of what the town's doing, just a recommendation, the town can do what they want, but it might be smart to also look at the drainage and built up dirt and debris in front of the bridge while you're in there power washing. And then, so I'm just moving on here now. The last bullet on that page, we respectfully request that GMF pay for the paint and tints. And now I'm moving on to the next slide, which is artwork. So what we're thinking is that the primer that Public Works paints the bridges with, that would actually also serve as the background of the artwork. So we wouldn't be, does that make sense to you guys? And then we have Sherry Zergis, was a professional mural painter. Her and Margaret Fry, who you all know, their thought is that we paint the bridges with a neutral light colored primer, and then those two would actually mix all the other colors using, they would tint it. So we wouldn't be buying a whole bunch of different paints, that they would do that for us. And the idea to really make this a community piece of art is that Margaret and Sherry would paint the more complex elements and some outlines, and then the community would paint, paint in the hills with them directing us. And then, the final slide there is just pictures of the damage on, especially the Eastern Bridge has quite a lot of concrete damage. It really does need skim coated to do anything with that. The other two faces, being the street facing side of the West Bridge, is in pretty good shape. And the back side of the Eastern Bridge that faces the park is also in pretty good shape. And we're actually proposing that we would paint three surfaces, the 2 street facing sides. And then additionally, it might be nice to have some artwork on the side of the bridge that's facing into the park.
And so, can I add?
Go right ahead.
So this also brings in, because we'll have probably 5 painters out there on the day, and it'll probably take 2 to 3 days to do all the painting. So when I talked to the manager, Becky, about it, she suggested that we will probably need some sort of signage around
Cones,
us to protect us from traffic. And that we also, she suggested we could borrow the bright colored vests that the town has.
Can I,
Go ahead, Nick.
can I ask how, the concrete is, term is often called, often spalling,
Yes.
where the crack, where it breaks away. Has the integrity of the bridge been threatened in any way? Is that solid enough? Is the bridge, the
Go
base
ahead, Don.
concrete is solid?
Yeah, I can answer that. This is a barrier wall.
Mhm.
It has nothing to do with the structure of the foundation of the bridge.
Right.
The foundation of the bridge is in good shape. It's just the barrier wall, particularly the one on the, you're calling the east side, has received a lot of freeze thaw action and has some serious spalling. We believe one of the reasons why is it there's a lot of the soil that's accumulated in there and
In front of it.
in front of it, and it's holding the water during the winter time. If that were cleared away, then we can,
Okay. So
eliminate the
Brad-
problem.
Yeah, do we need to make, does Public Works need to make provision for drainage in that area?
I think that just on a visual inspection, that if the dirt that has been collected in there is cleaned out, and then at least on the east side of Ute, a new drainage created so it doesn't pool and accumulate there, that will fix the problem for the future.
Okay, so a little maintenance to follow up on that, but the barrier wall itself, is it made of reinforced concrete?
Yes.
Or, okay, and none of the reinforcing rods or similar have been
Not,
damaged?
not yet, but it's seriously deep, and it's like it needs to be repaired this year, as far as I'm
You
concerned.
can just wipe your hand on the
Yeah,
side
so the
and it
spalling
just
is
falls
falling off.
off, yeah.
Okay, so
That's
it's not just,
this wall here.
Can I interrupt a second? Are you guys hearing the conversation over here?
I am, yes.
Jess,
Yeah, yeah.
Danny? Okay,
Yes.
just making sure,
Okay.
because
Good
make
point.
sure you're talking towards
I could
the,
speak more loudly.
well, no,
without-
I just want to make sure that they're hearing.
That's like
Okay.
Because we're sort of getting involved with
Yes,
each other here,
okay.
so make sure you.
Anyway, so Kathleen, the BIF residents are just basically bringing it to you guys with this ask and recommendation. And really all of this work on getting the bridge ready to be painted would really have to be Public Works. So that's why we kind of split it into 2 phases that can be decoupled. Do you have anything else to say, Kathleen, or?
I would just had a question about how long do you think the repair with the city will take?
Yeah, so,
So they- Go ahead.
yeah.
Go ahead, Jesse.
Here I go. First of all, I commend you for, seeing a problem and wanting to take care of it. And I'll speak for the rest of the PRTA. Of course, we want to help you get this done. Typically, and I like to make our recommendations as bulletproof as possible, meaning that we've thought of everything on a committee level that might, have Trustee Walker kick it back to us,
Yep.
which we don't.
Yep.
So some immediate thoughts are, we probably want to just have a memo go to town staff suggesting the repairs to the bridge and why. And as a community member who has brought a lot of artwork to the community, sometimes there's a need for some community engagement about that. Because what if people don't want to see that lovely painting with the trees in the sky? I can't imagine that anyone would object to that, but there's always someone.
Curmudgeons.
And we do have some community engagements upcoming. We have one tonight, but it's obviously too late to include it in that. But we
Well,
will.
you know, that was just a preliminary piece of artwork to kind of show the palette and kind of what we're thinking about. So yeah, Margaret and Sherry haven't definitively like done 3 prototypes, and you know, they don't want to go to a ton of work designing this artwork unless we know we can get the first phase through.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
it does. So and
I
generally,
like your comment about community engagement.
yeah, and typically I would try to get a concept approved rather than a specific painting, because it's going to look different when you transfer it to the bridge anyway. So I would advise that you think that way. But what can we do today to help make this happen? I think one is a memo to town staff requesting the repair. And what do you guys think about asking? Let's ask the Board of Trustees to. What can we ask them based on what we know? We can ask them to let us include this bridge as part of the Adopt a Park program. We can discuss the intent that that BIF has approached us with a concept that they would like to get approved, and maybe we ask them if we need the public engagement piece or if they're comfortable streamlining it.
Mhm.
So those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts for discussion among members of the PRT. Go ahead, Jay.
Okay, if I can jump in, we essentially have the first stage in community involvement because you've developed an organization, a sub-organization here that speaks for a significant fraction of Green Mountain Falls already. Well, a measurable fraction of Green Mountain Falls. I said significant. It doesn't mean majority or any kind of voting thing. It's just enough that we can't ignore them, because otherwise they'll probably smack us over the head with something. But anyway, putting the candidate drawing in front of the Board of Trustees as a concept, as you say, would be an excellent way to go.
Yeah.
You'd clearly need a very different style on the east east area facing the park.
Right.
That's a very different layout and very geometry. So that would be a natural point to develop. Yeah. I'm very familiar with that area. I've mowed it several times.
And to your point, to your point, the West Bridge has the natural boxes in the cement, the rectangles. So we were thinking those could be like flower boxes with flowers coming out of them.
Is that this one?
No, that's this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, these are part of the structure. The boxes that Sherry was referring to are just part of the structure of the bridge, or are those drainage paths?
Correct.
Well, and I don't think it's the PRT committee that should be developing the concept. I mean, you're bringing it towards us. And so, yes, it is a small, I'm in this coffee clutch, so I know the ladies who are in it also. But I think it needs to reach a bigger audience. Isn't that what you're sort of saying, Jesse? To get more buy-in from the rest of the community, how we do that, that is something that we need to have sort of a plan to bring to the board too, to sort of show them that, we wanted to have more input on it also. So I agree with you. I think the first step is definitely a Public Works town manager, town staff memo describing the bridge itself or the barrier wall and what needs to be done to before this Adopt a Park community project can be even done. I don't know if these can be done in parallel. You know, how does that work? How do you see that working, Jesse?
Yeah, I think, the town manager could instruct this repair. It's a minor repair, it's a minor expense. So I think that could probably happen immediately. And I don't know what the cure time is for those products, but so I think the repair could be done immediately. And I don't, and then the projects are uncoupled from there. We probably don't have our next community engagement until, we could potentially do one in June for Stilling Basin Park and also include this one, which really then maybe gets us to an answer by July. And believe me, I would much rather say, and first of all, we don't have the authority, but I would much rather say this needs to be done. We're going to do it, and we go do it. But then we've almost given everyone else in town permission to just go paint whatever they want, and we may not like that. So I don't like this process per se, but it's important, and I'm learning more about it being PRT and having done this many times with Greenbox. It's a process, and people like it more when they've been heard and are a part of decision making.
I have a question. I talked to Becky about a week ago, and she was stressed. She said, "Oh my God, another project." And she said, "I already have so many projects for the repair guys."
Well, I was gonna say, I do particularly like this schedule better than our original schedule because that will give the town manager time to schedule Public Works to do this. Because May is apparently a really busy month for
Busy.
Public Works. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
this whole season is a busy time for Public Works.
Yeah.
I like that idea, Jesse, to bring it into the hotel park. Do we have another one of those? I thought we were all done with hotel park. Are you talking pool park?
Stilling Basin. Stilling Basin
But
Park.
that's hotel park now, right?
Yeah.
We just
Yeah, you're
renamed
right.
it.
Yes, you're right.
But we're gonna have another one in June?
So we still haven't got a budget approved
Okay.
and
Oh,
submitted
that's right.
to the Board of Trustees. I can talk more about that in reports because I do have some
Okay.
updates that everyone's going to be happy about. But so for this topic, before we make a motion, Shelley and Kathleen, does this work for you all?
And Dawn. Oh,
Oh, go ahead. Don. Don has a question first.
Jesse, I wanted to make this comment that the repairs that the committee is specifying is important to create a foundation for a paintable surface. If we don't stipulate that in the request, then Public Works may repair it in a way that's not paintable.
That's a good point.
and is that in that detailed report?
Yeah, I mean,
If it's in that detailed report, then I can do an advice memo to the town staff, town manager, copy Public Works, and then they can have all the information they need or the recommendation that we give them on how to prepare that bridge for painting.
Yeah, scraping, power washing.
Well, I mean,
skin
yeah,
coating.
yeah, if you have more information to, just let me know the information so I can forward that on.
Yeah, that's pretty
Okay,
general.
okay.
But It's just the meeting of minds on how that bridge should be repaired.
Okay,
Yeah.
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 Give me the
A
quick-
details and I will put that in the memo.
Can I ask a
Skim,
quick
If
question?
I can answer.
Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah,
Danny.
go
ahead.
Danny.
When was the last time this was painted? How long has this lasted?
When did you paint it last time, Kathleen? 15
Oh,
years.
did I pay? Oh, you mean when I did that? It was probably about 5 years ago.
Oh, it's longer than
Okay.
that,
Oh,
was
no,
it?
it's been in that, it's been in that condition since I've moved to the town.
Oh, I painted on top of paint that was, I mean.
Yeah,
paint
it's-
that was
that-
falling
that-
off.
Yeah, it's
But
had
that's
fresh paint, but
mechanically
until we
not
fix the
stable.
palette, it's
What
not
was
gonna-
that, Jesse?
It's had fresh paint, but until we fix the palette,
Right.
or the bridge, it's just not gonna look the way you want it to look.
Right, because I
Yeah,
used
well-
spray paint. I didn't try and use a brush or anything like
Well,
that.
the key thing is that if the concrete is falling off, even if you paint that surface,
Right.
the concrete is gonna break away from that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a fresco that is bonded directly to it. It's just a surface coat.
Right.
The key, Don commented on the nature of the repair, specifying the repair so that the surface is solid enough to hold paint over an extended time will be very important.
So
And does this cover it?
it does, and I'll write that up for you, Nancy. I did want to make a point, since we did talk about since we have brought up the previous painting. So our designers, Sherry and Margaret, are adamant that once we get that old paint off there, we do need to be using a concrete paint, because what's on there now is actually holding the water against the concrete and trapping it. It was not the paint that probably should have been used there. So in redoing this, we'll be definitely using the appropriate paint type.
Yeah, so something to be thinking ahead for is that when we get to that public engagement meeting, it would be great if you already had a budget and specified paints so that we can talk about all of that and the more information we have at that meeting, the quicker we can put together an advice memo to the Board of Trustees, which will be the final step to get this approved. Is in their hands, but
How do
we'll
we
do the
budget?
advice memo to make that happen.
Yes.
She can come up with a budget.
And this is for, what's the public input thing? What is this and when is it?
Community
In June.
engagement, and we do not have a date for that set yet.
But June.
But are you saying, Jesse, that you would like a preliminary budget, and Nancy would like exactly what we're asking the town to do to the barricade for
That's-
purposes of the memo, both of those things?
Well,
so
but
it's
the budget is, no, go
two
ahead,
separate
sorry.
things. Yeah, two separate things. So Nancy's gonna do a memo to town staff requesting the repair and that the repair be done as you specify. And then the
And then
second
the
thing.
budget piece,
The second thing would be when we have the community engagement meeting, you want to present a concept and a budget to do this.
okay.
It won't be until June.
That way it all gets approved at once and there's no outliers that can slow you down. Not that I always think of everyone, but I try, because if these are bulletproof recommendations that we're making, they go through quicker.
So actually, the only action item for PRT right now is to have a motion for me to write that memo to town staff and public works, correct?
I think that's one, so moved.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh.
A second.
Keita, second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good. I think the second could be so that the Board of Trustees is aware that we're gonna do this community engagement, we should do an advice memo to them saying that Biff wants to adopt this as part of Adopt a Park program, and they would like to repaint it as a piece of artwork, and PRT is recommending that it be part of the June community engagement meeting hosted by PRT.
Was that a motion?
It was a long one.
I
I
know,
hope you transcribed it, Nancy.
I sort of did, I think.
And this will be part of the memo that you write up?
I got it.
Okay.
So, you move that, who's second? Keita
Is-
second.
Yeah, is there a second? Is there any other discussion before we vote on this? No, hearing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, everybody can stay in the group.
Okay.
All right, so item 5C, we discussed the slide at Gazebo Park being missing from that piece of playground equipment. And Nancy Dixon has a suggestion for us to talk through.
Can you pause a second, Jesse? People are leaving and we're gonna let them go ahead and exit. Is that okay?
Well, if they don't stay till the end, we might rescind something. I'm joking.
Bye,
Thanks for
bye.
coming. Thanks for coming, Kathleen.
Yes, thanks for coming, guys.
Thank you, Shelley.
This is generally called exit stage left on, that was Bullwinkle? No,
Rocky and Bull. Oh, yeah.
I just
all right.
flung my pen somewhere.
Okay. Thanks for the pause.
Of course. So let's pick back up at item 5C.
Bye, thanks for listening.
Very cool.
Nancy, you want to lead us into this discussion?
So I had a thunk. I was driving by Pool Park and I was like, you know, that playground is not used a whole lot, not as much as the gazebo playground is. And we're going to be renovating that whole area in 25, 26. And that climbing structure that's in Pool Park on that playground is in pretty good shape. So my suggestion was, how about if we take out the broken equipment that Don was referencing earlier out of Gazebo Park playground and put the piece that's in Pool Park, which is still in fairly good shape because that pool park playground doesn't get used as much, and move it over to Gazebo Park and put it in that same area. Thoughts? Just the climbing structure, not the swings. Because the pool park has just swings and a little climbing structure. So we would take that climbing structure from Pool Park and take out the damaged, broken piece in Gazebo Park and replace it with that.
Do we, if I can jump in, do we know anything about the structure? Is it bonded
This
in
is
concrete?
total concept. This is just a thought that I had
Okay,
as far, instead of trying to repair that piece in Gazebo Park, the piece in Pool Park is in fairly good shape. I don't know if this can be done. I mean, there needs to be some more deep dive into it, but it was just a thought I had that of a possibility of, you know, reusing something that'll probably be taken out anyway.
okay. I would volunteer to take a look at that structure and decide and determine whether it would be reasonable to move it. I think it has about the same footprint as the slide.
I'm not sure. I didn't do any measurements. Once again, just
Okay.
no, I didn't do a deep dive.
Yeah. Again, I hate to throw out the insurance thing, but I'm wondering about if it would, you know, the integrity of the structure, if that would be a liability.
And that would be something to look at also. I agree.
That the town has insurance for the parking, for the parks?
No, the insurance from the equipment. Yeah, you know, if, that's the reason we can't put
If-
anything on, you know, a broken piece if it's not their,
It's not their
Yes.
mechanical structures.
so what Danny's saying, if we're gonna move it from one park to another,
Yeah.
what's the liability on that?
Yeah, and we'd have to
Right.
know what the we'd have to be able to trace the manufacturer of the piece from Pool Park to know that it is
I feel like,
covered.
yeah, I think we got off track here. Because what Nancy is suggesting is that we remove the piece of equipment that's
Right.
broken. And that we replace it with the one from Pool Park, which we think, but I think an inspection of that, is it structurally sound? Could it make the move without tearing it up?
Yep.
I think we might
Yes.
dip into that.
Yeah.
I would like to make a recommendation to town staff to at least make a temporary repair to the broken piece of equipment
Yes.
and give them specific measurements on a piece of plexiglass or sheet metal, you know, which probably is plexiglass, is not going to cut anyone. So
Tell Jesse you might know a volunteer that can do that.
There's a volunteer sitting across the table from me that might be able to do that. I was just whispered to on that.
yeah, and Zoom picked it up nicely because I heard it too. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don. So as homework, I would ask Jay and Don to put their heads together and look at the structural integrity of the piece of equipment in Pool Park and report back to us at the next PRT meeting. And so I'm tabling that part of the discussion and asking for a memo to town staff requesting a repair to that piece of equipment by installing a piece of plexiglass to be specified by Don Walker. Everybody happy with that?
Yes.
Yep.
So, just a question, clarification. Do you want me to wait until Dawn has suggestions on how to repair it and put that in the advice memo? Or just say, Dawn will come up with a solution?
I think so that we're not hitting town staff with half of an answer, half of a request.
Right.
Let's put it all together. That way, maybe it gets immediate action once and gets done.
Okay, so then Dawn will have to give me the information first and then I'll do the advice memo. Got it. Okay.
Perfect. Everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. We'll set that up.
So was that a motion, Jesse?
Jay, I think Jay made it.
Yes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Business item 5D. Printed found trail map sales. So, I think we all know why this is on the agenda, but Nancy, you want to give a quick recap?
Sure. At the last board meeting, the Board of Trustees meeting, we had sent a advice memo to the board about possible sales of printed, the new town trail maps, because there was some interest on social media when I rolled that out, and people were asking where they could buy a paper map. And so our discussion in PRT was, well, maybe we can have those sold, and then the money that was sold from them could refill the Trail Ambassador budget, since the Trail Ambassador budget went to printing the new trail maps, laminating them, and buying plexiglass and putting them up on the Welcome Center and the Lake Street Trailhead. The advice from the board, they sent it back to us. because they felt like town staff, that would be a burden on town staff to try to track and keep track of. And so they basically, and Dawn can help me with this also, but they sent it back to us and they said, you know, if Trail Ambassadors is needing more money, since my budget was wiped out with all of that, just put in a request to the board at the time that if I would be needing, I don't know, more t-shirts or, you know, something for the Trail Ambassador program. So they sort of, they were basically saying, you don't have to fundraise for Trail Ambassadors. We will support you if you need $100 or $150 or whatever. And so they sort of sent it back to our committee to discuss that. And that's where that went. Do you have anything to add, Dawn?
No.
Dawn says no. So that's why that's back on our agenda.
Okay. Of course, I have some thoughts, but let's go around the room. Danny?
I
Oh,
don't,
he
I
said-
don't see anything that needs to, I'm surprised that that funding it for a small, or selling them for a small fee wouldn't be desirable, but I'll pass on that if it becomes too much of a complication. I'm not in a position to monitor or understand the town business.
Danny, you were trying to say something, but you're muted.
So I have no comment really.
You're muted, Danny.
Can you repeat your exact question? I keeps breaking up on me.
Sure. So we're just having a discussion.
Yeah.
The Board of Trustees
Yeah.
asked us, you know, so it's just, you know, what are your thoughts?
Mhm. As far as what specifically, it just like
So
getting money,
yeah, so the Board of Trustees has said basically,
right?
ask us for a reimbursement so that we can replenish the Trails Ambassadors funds for the maps. But then there's also an outlying question of,
Right.
can we use the maps for fundraising that can be
Okay.
connected to Trail Ambassadors? You know, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. I like the idea too. I just don't know how you would manage that.
So a thought that I had was that we could approach the local businesses and say, you know, if you want to buy into the trail map, you can have your name listed on the trail map. You know, and so annually you would pay in a fee, and this would all the funding would go to fund the Trail Ambassadors program.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
that's what I was going to throw out there.
Right.
Okay. Jesse, with that as a start, I have to point out various other organizations in the greater Colorado Springs community sell trail maps. The Ring the Peak people sell, I think there's something like $5 for each segment of the trail map. The planned Ring the Peak trail, because not all the segments are listed. But they do that already. Running it through some local outlets would give us more visibility at the businesses, the Blue Moose or the Pantry, Stones and Bones.
And they're typically the
That would
ones
be a
who
really, that would be a really fine way to get that done without placing any burden on the town staff. That would circumvent that consideration.
Mm-hmm.
I've already been approached by Painted Bear, and they said they would sell trail maps at Painted Bear. I do have a question though. You're saying if basically we'd be using the businesses as sponsors. Is that correct?
Right.
correct.
So that is an sort of an action item to connect with all those businesses, and then we'd have to figure out how to
Mhm.
put the sponsor, you know, their logo, whatever, on the map somehow, I guess on the back, or so there's some time and effort and energy that would have to be, you know, I mean, it's easy to say, let's go do this, but there's a lot of effort that needs to be put into it also.
Sure.
Is our committee willing to put that effort into? I'm just asking, because that is a little time, you know, there's some time involved with that too.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, it's really up to you guys. I think it's a good way to fund the trail ambassadors, you know, for years to come. We put a lot of
No,
work.
I agree.
Yeah, we put a lot of work into that map, and so having it pay us back is I think a good thing. We also want to check with Pocket Pals to make sure that that is acceptable to them, because they also sell that map. They really are the ones that who have the right to sell it.
Yeah, I was about to say, they sell the Green Mountain Falls map too?
They do. Mhm.
Oh, really?
What outlets does Pocket Pal use for those sales, Jesse?
Their website, and in fact, even when you get directed to the town hiking map, if you download their app, you know, you're paying for the app and the map at the same time. You can get the map without paying for it from them, from that download, but you can also get that app that allows you to do the geo-referencing.
Mhm.
So there's a
And
lot.
that app is free.
Yes.
Okay,
So
yeah.
there's logistics, because, you know, people who are not hikers, number one, they don't know that that's out there, that it's available. And those are the people who need it the most.
Yeah.
So we need to figure out, as you know, well, the Trails ambassadors really, how are you giving that information to people that it's most useful and they're most likely going to use it? You know, do we have a Wi-Fi check-in? Is there a place, you know, you have to go over to the pool and get on the town Wi-Fi and download the map, but it's well worth that 5 minutes, and you can, you know.
Yes, I agree. I just sent out my first Trail Ambassador email, highly encouraging all my ambassadors to be very familiar with the app and the new map, so that they can be knowledgeable on and encouraging the hikers to take the time to download that, because it is a very helpful tool to see where you are on a trail. But getting back to the Pocket Pal selling it already, is that I mean, we bought the map, correct?
Yeah. Do they have exclusive rights to it, or?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time trying to figure out how this works.
Yeah, and forgive me for not remembering exactly how it went, but it was a lot to get them to produce it and allow us to have it available. And I think our intent was really not to have a lot of printed maps. Our intent was to have people take photos of it, post it at the trail, or download it to their phones. So I think we need their blessing. But you know, as a business manager and a business owner in town, I would certainly be very happy to support the trail ambassadors through providing maps at our locations.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I also I know that there would be businesses besides yours that would be supportive of it also.
I think so too. I think it's easy win.
One more consideration, Jesse, if I can, one more consideration is there any, since it is a town function that we are a town function that's defined the map, Is there any restriction on making it a paid function? Since we are not sponsoring the sale of maps through Pocket Pals, that's separate. But if we set up some fiduciary relationship with businesses or start to sell things ourselves, is that a allowable function for the town of Green Mountain Falls? Is that something the trustees have to rule on?
I think absolutely. Unless Nancy, are the trail ambassadors able to accept donations currently, or those go through the town of Green Mountain Falls?
That goes through, there is no way to have we don't have a way set up yet to have like a QR code, that would go to a town account where you could make a donation. There's no electronic means of doing that. People are sort of beyond cash and checks anymore. So no, I mean, yes, they can write a check or give cash up at town hall and say, I want this to go to the trail ambassadors, but there's not a specific, like if you're on a trailhead and you see a QR code, there's nothing that we have like that, if that makes sense.
Well, yes, but what I was thinking of is, as a legal payment, can we sell something outside, to people, to individuals? That's a financial transaction, and I believe town finances are supposed to be nonprofit governmental.
Yeah, so if you'll remember back, Jay,
Yeah.
PRT is allowed to accept donations, but they have to go through town of Green Mountain Falls. And PRT doesn't have an account. And in fact, I don't think there's a way to even specify that those funds have to be used for PRT. It's just a general donation to the town.
So selling a map would be you would say donation $1 or something like that. It would have to be sent as a donation, or could it be set, or is it a sale?
So what are we talking about? Are we talking about selling the map, or are we talking about fundraising with the map? Because it's two different things.
Right.
Okay. So you would have the businesses buy into the stock of maps with their logo, and then they can distribute them as they see fit.
Right.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought it was still like a sale.
No.
And we don't have to do that idea. It's just one that I thought of because
Okay,
we're friendly, we're Green Mountain Falls, and we'd like to just hand you this map and say, obey the Hiker 5 and enjoy our trail.
Mhm.
And in all the history of Green Mountain Falls, yes, and in all the history of Green Mountain Falls and trails maps, I've never paid for a trail map in Green Mountain Falls, and I've been coming out here for 40 years. So, I mean,
okay.
Yes, times change, but I don't know.
I just interpreted that as a sale. I'm sorry, I'm sort of jumping ahead.
Since Don's there, Don's, what's your perspective? Or did he leave? I can't see him.
He was ignoring it.
My perspective, I like the idea of corporate sponsors printing maps for distribution. That's the concept that you floated, right?
Right,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Oh, okay, so the businesses would pay in to sponsor the trail ambassadors, but they would have to print them out on their own dime? No.
No.
Okay, that's what you sort of said, right?
No,
That
that's not what Don said either.
corporate sponsors,
Yeah,
they donate money.
right.
Maps are printed.
Oh, they don't print the maps. We print the maps.
No.
Got it. Okay. I thought you were saying the sponsors would be printing.
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's
Okay.
the mechanism
Okay.
that's basically what Jesse was sketching.
Yes.
And that helps keep the integrity of the map also, because we're not having generations of photocopies
Mhm.
True.
made, on bad machines. So,
Mhm.
so I think my vision is, to approach all the businesses and say, hey, would you like to sponsor the trail map? And in exchange for that, your name is gonna go on the map, and
Mhm.
we'll supply you with maps for the year for your, $50 donation. I don't think so. If you guys like that concept, then I think our advice memo is to ask the Board of Trustees to reimburse the trail ambassadors for the printing of the map
Mm.
for X number of dollars. Nancy, you know what that is. And part two of that is to ask the Board of Trustees if the trail ambassadors could use donations of the, what am I trying to say?
Yep, from-
Use the map as a fundraising tool.
Right.
Well,
And this is-
Jesse, that's what they sent back on us. Right? Because you said that instead of having the trail ambassadors fundraise, they were gonna just raise or,
Just Just give us give us a larger funding block. They were just gonna give us money. Right?
you were there, Don.
The fundraising involved staff, and that's where it started going downhill.
Okay.
It was the
Okay.
sale of maps by town staff
Okay.
that
Okay.
said no to. So we'll take,
We'll take town
think-
staff out of the equation.
and we're no
Okay.
longer selling maps. We've come up with a fundraising function to sponsor the maps and to sponsor trail ambassadors.
Mhm. Now, does any of this hinge on the fact that whether we are able to do that, or if we own the map, or who owns the map? Like if it's the app or?
Yeah, I do think that a quick email to Pocket Pals is probably
Mhm.
just, a good business practice to make sure that we're doing anything.
Yeah, because you want to keep their involvement in the community and your good relationship with Pocket Pals.
Right. I can tell you that it's going to go way off topic, but there is a Green Mountain Falls field guide being produced by one of the Kirkpatrick entities, and Pocket Pals has been very agreeable to allowing the map in that publication. So I think they'll be friendly towards the idea, but I want to, let's check with them.
Mhm.
Jesse, can I assume that you'll be doing that email then?
I will do that email with Julie at Pocket Pals. Yes.
Thank you. Well, maybe what we need to do is have that email done, get a response back from it, and then we can, or we can make a motion that is dependent on that email.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Mhm.
Okay. When you were talking when you sort of were making your motion and you said cost of printing of the maps, are you talking the maps that we'd be giving to the businesses?
So the first part of the motion is ask the town to reimburse the trail ambassadors for the monies spent on printing maps.
Mhm.
Mhm. So that's
You mean the
one
ones I
item.
put up on the trailheads?
Yes, the ones that you spent your budget.
Okay, got it.
Because
Gotcha.
they requested that we ask for a reimbursement.
Right,
So
okay,
we're gonna answer that request. And
got
then
it.
we're gonna ask for for their approval to use the trail map for trail activities through the Trails Ambassadors, to include printing of the map and distribution of the map. So I think that was a motion.
No.
Yep.
Second it?
I'll second.
So second by Danny. Any further discussion? Did we get that right,
Well,
guys?
Yes, we did. And unfortunately, Danny, until you get approved by the board,
Oh, I can't.
you
Okay,
don't get to vote.
gotcha.
But I know you're excited and we're thrilled with your
No.
excitement.
No, that's fine. I just don't know the right.
Well, no, since you're still an alternate, you get to do discussion,
Sure.
but not voting. Next
Okay,
meeting,
sure.
next
No
meeting, you'll get
problem.
to use your voice.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
no
Sorry.
problem.
So this is the equivalent of the Women's March for Equal Representation. You're marching towards it.
Right.
Okay, so there was a motion on the floor. Jay Kita seconded it. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, aye.
I,
Any opposed? Moving on to correspondence, I'm not aware of any.
hold on, we amended the agenda to do the signage at the Catamount Trails
Yes.
and Thomas Trail.
thank you.
And the background on that is, since the reservoirs are being rehabilitated and closed, most of the water, there's no retention up there, or not as much as they used to have. And so it's just flowing straight down. And
Mhm.
there has been conversations between the town and CSU. I personally feel that the flow is going to be a heavy water flow until those reservoirs are completed. I have put up some, my little laminated signs, but I would like to have a discussion about possibly having Public Works, they have their sign maker, making a little bit more
Robust.
permanent signage at the Catamount Trail and at the Thomas Trailhead, just really emphasizing that there's high water because you cross the water at Thomas, the Thomas Trail.
Mhm.
Just making sure that there is a notice and it's not just a little laminated sign putting up there. So that was my thoughts. Discussion.
I think part of the reason that PRT was organized, and one of our key responsibilities is to make those kind of suggestions to town staff. So it's absolutely within our purview to do that. So let's tell them exactly what it should say.
Yes, please. Yes. Because when I write the advice memo, I'd like to have exact words.
Okay. Do we have an idea of how long the water flow is going to be elevated?
Likely
As
through construction of the whole dam.
Okay. Has CSU stated how much it's going to be?
No, they no longer have the ability to control the flow.
They have to let out everything that's coming in, so it doesn't fill up.
Yeah.
Okay. But they didn't give us a gauge. They didn't give us a gauge measurement.
Why would we need that? I mean, we're trying to do a sign.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm just,
Yeah, no.
okay. Okay. So,
I'm trying to find the sign that I had done.
you're thinking of the sign that you did last year?
Well, it's actually,
You put it together last year.
mhm.
And I believe it says, warning high water levels on Catamount Creek, make crossing, I believe it says make crossing danger.
No, I would never say dangerous.
Okay.
I don't remember.
What if we make a, what if a motion was made to repeat that sign, just to repeat that sign in a metal sign, in a metal structure that can be mounted at the, along Thomas Trail at the beginning of the wildfire mitigation area, because that's a well-defined point, and at the base of Catamount Trail.
And we could even simplify, we could even simplify by saying, if you'll produce these 6 signs, we could ask PRT members to post them, or friends post them, because really having Public Works have to go find those areas. I think they're less familiar than we are. Is that how
that would reduce
that, Jay?
I'm sorry, that would reduce the workload, because they would only have to generate the signs, and they could go back to the other projects that they're working on.
Do you want me to send out, when I find it, do you want me to send out to the committee what I had put up on, what I have presently as my laminated sign, and just get some feedback on that before I do the advice memo, just to make sure everyone is in agreement as far as the wordage? The wordage? Yeah.
The wording.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
And just remember to everyone email back Nancy direct, and rather than
I'll do
doing
a PCC.
group.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So we can make a motion with the contingency on the final sign, or we can table this until next meeting.
You know, it's a safety issue, so I'm pretty comfortable. Let's just, I thought we didn't even have to make motions to request something from town staff, and I might be wrong about that. But let's just do a motion to have town staff print 6 signs that say, per Nancy's description, and distribution by PRT members. That work for
That's a
everyone?
motion.
That sounds good. I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good. Correspondence. I'm not aware of any.
No, I don't have any correspondence.
Reports, community workday.
It went fabulous.
It was well attended.
16 people.
Yeah, that was well more than we expected. You were reporting only 2 signups beforehand. We used some town equipment, a mixture of town and private equipment, and Gazebo Park is substantially improved.
Yeah. I posted pictures on Facebook, and it got a lot of engagement and thank yous and appreciation and love. So, yeah, we had 16 people there on a very cold morning, and we missed you too. But yeah, it went really well.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any big hiccups. We have 2 big, huge piles ready for chipper day that are over by the trash can over by the
Stonebridge.
land office. And we probably had, I don't know, 10 to 12 of those big
Garbage bags.
Yeah, the big construction bags and that the mayor and I took over to Public Works and put in their big dumpster. So we didn't leave a mess. We cleaned up after ourselves, and it went really well. It was very successful.
I would put in a note. We could probably benefit in a similar way from a second community work day around Pool Park. There's a lot of debris and branches around, especially on the back side of Pool Park. It's not heavily frequented, but it's an area that could use some attention. That's just a note for the future. We also have at Hotel Park, there's no sign of the of action by the contractor that was supposed to be doing the hydro seeding. There's a lot of just bad, ugly vegetation there.
Yeah.
You know, the random plant, plant stems and similar. I haven't seen anything happen there. That's something that we might bring up to the trustees and ask the trustees about what is to happen there. My understanding was that the vendor that was supposed to hydro seed
Hold on, Jay.
failed to do
Jay.
it properly.
Jay,
Yes,
Jay, if you'll remember, I said I wanted to talk about this exactly. So I'm only gonna
Oh,
cut
good,
you off
good.
because I have relevant information.
excellent, thank you.
Yes, so thank you for the report on the community workday. And so as it relates to Stilling Basin Park, I did get a quote through Aspen Landscaping to hydro seed Stilling Basin Park. Hotel Park, I gotta get that right. Hotel Park. And Nancy went out and did soil samples. I mailed those off to the extension agency, and the results are probably in my mailbox there in Greenmount Falls with other weeks of mail.
Get there.
But I did talk to the town manager about what's going on. And so Carla Chapman recommended that we let the weeds get up in the park, which is what you're seeing and commenting on, Jay. And once
Yeah,
they're
okay.
up, they need to be sprayed with, Roundup or something equivalent, so that all the grass is killed. Then the hydro seed goes on, and we need to water if we can. So I had a discussion with Becky about this, and I asked her to reach out to Colorado Springs Utilities to see if they would put a water faucet, a hand pump there. She thinks that there's enough funding available to do that. So falls in her court on that one. And she also approved the expense to have the landscaper pre-spray, pre-treat, and hydro seed. Now, if the soil amendment report suggests that we need to do some amendment for the grass, then that will be, we'll have to solve that part of the equation. But he's ordered the seed, and he'll be doing the spraying and that. So if nothing else, that's a big thing, is to get those weeds removed, and then to get the thing hydro seeded, because that will reduce the dust to the neighbors and give those grass seeds the best chance to survive. Then if we can get water installed there, that's great. And we can, even then, once we go into planting out the beds, we can hook a temporary irrigation system up that only requires the water pressure to trigger it on the timer to do some watering there. So I think that's all good news.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Yes. And once we get that, what was it? Carla, I think, was saying that once you get the grass established, whatever the combination is, it might be some clover in there, grass, whatever. that's when you start to put in your wildflowers
Right,
and,
right.
and start to build. I mean, it's a foundation type of thing. We have to do it one step at a time.
Yeah.
But getting grass would be fabulous.
Okay. Thank you, Jesse. I had only heard I'd only been given a directive that an action was being pursued, and it was just sketched that way, so I didn't understand the sequence of events. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think, you know, everyone has said yes so far to making all those things happen. So I feel pretty good then about leading us into the next part of hotel project, which is figuring out a cost for those beds, figuring out a cost for the materials to do the sidewalk, and so we need to start pulling that information together. So I think I would like to discuss this more at the next PRT meeting.
I'll add it to the agenda.
Okay. Only because my brain is toast and I gotta go pick up my dogs from the groomer.
Can I add something really quickly?
Please.
I met with Barrett Weisseipel, who's the 4th grade teacher at UPass Elementary, and talking about the gardens in front of the pool, kind of like got that follow through with what Dawn started with her. And I think the kids are they've started all the flowers. So they have all the flowers. So I think what her plan is on like May 17th or something like that. The kids are going to meet at the park and just kind of do a real quick clean out of that area and then just plant the flowers that they have. It's kind of a minimal thing since there'll probably be construction on that area in the near future. But since the kids have started all the flowers, they'll clean out the beds and plant some stuff. That's it.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful.
We're thrilled that we got the elementary school involved with beautifying our little town. So that's wonderful.
They've been working hard.
Thanks for the report. Yeah, they have. I volunteered in there just Tuesday. Tuesday, I don't know what today is. Oh, that was yesterday. Their whole hallway is just like a greenhouse. I mean, they have tomato plants, they have pickle plants, they got flower plants. It's awesome.
That's amazing.
And I think May 17th is also when they're going to be selling those plants at Pool Park.
Yeah.
Or no, is it Pool Park? Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not sure the exact dates they'll actually be doing the planting. So that's just the date I remembered, but it's around that time.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, well, I'm going to adjourn us at 4:25 p.m. and I'll see you all in about 95 minutes.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
Where am I? Oh, good. They all